Welcome to the DARE podcast, where it is all about helping people overcome anxiety and panic attacks. The DARE app has over 1 million downloads and is free to download at dareresponse.com. Now, without further ado, here is the DARE podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
So, Michelle, how are you?
Good. How's it going? I know, late Friday night for you.
Yes.
Party, right?
Yes. Everything for you. Cool. So, Friday evening, a little unusual. Thank you, everybody who's attending on a Friday evening and not out partying somewhere. Cool. So, how was your week, Michelle?
Pretty good. Busy. How about you?
Same. So, our topic today, or we're going to just kick things off with self-compassion, right, Michelle?
Yeah. So we were going to just for like a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, like a little topic to start off our Q&A. And so today's topic is importance of self-compassion and how it assists with recovery, which we do talk about here and there, but I kind of just we thought it would be good to have it all in a few minutes to just discuss this specific topic.
Yeah. And you guys, would you agree that mastering self-compassion or learning to be compassionate towards yourself is just as hard as overcoming anxiety? Because it's just not something most of us, at least, have not been brought up with. And life is easy when you don't have to be self-compassionate, when things are going well. But as soon as something really intense hit, like an anxiety disorder, then I think we really do see the lack of self-compassion, how much that can make our recovery harder, right? If you guys agree, or if you found the same, please do post in the chat and let us know.
I have the picture that you like that I made that looked like those creepy gingerbread men, but I remade it.
Yeah.
And if I could figure out how to share my screen, should I try this?
Yes, please.
Okay. Guys, hang in with me, because hang on there. I'm just going to try and... Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Is it blocked by
we
anything?
made it. No,
I made it with
can
little
see
koala bears. You can see it okay. Okay, good.
Yes,
so
yes.
I wanted to share this. I originally quickly drew this, and they look like gingerbread men with creepy long arms. So I found this on Canva, and I turned it into this. And so this, can you see my cursor moving around on the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So this is how you feel. These are the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations. This is the stuff we always talk about, the noticeable stuff, right? And this little guy, this is what we teach at DARE, how you treat, how you feel, right? How you're treating your thoughts, how you're treating your physical sensations, how you treat your memories, your relationship here and here, okay? So this here is the DARE stuff. This guy is how you treat yourself while you're feeling feelings. And so this is where the self-compassion piece comes in, where whether you have a disordered relationship with anxiety or not, some of us are just so mean to ourselves, right? Some people don't have that thing. They're just kind and gentle and lighter to themselves. And some of us are just treat ourselves like garbage. Again, maybe that was because we were treated that way by adults in our lives when we were kids, or like as teenagers, or as other peers. Maybe we just heard that message from people around us a lot, and now we just sort of take that in and we're feeding ourselves the same thing. But this is also changeable, right? Just like you don't get to decide this. You see how these are changing colors and this is fluctuating. This is observable. This is changeable. This is changeable. And this is the piece where you can treat this guy with kindness and compassion, the way you would treat probably anybody else, because we tend to treat everybody else around us much kinder and much nicer, with much more grace than how we treat ourselves. And so this is the piece in here. I have people that work really hard here, but every time they do one little thing wrong, it's you stupid idiot, oh, you dummy, you failed, what's wrong with you? You're never going to get this. It's not helpful. And so here is just a helpful piece to add. How are you treating yourself while you're doing all this hard work? I wanted to just share that little image. I'm just talking a lot because I'm stalling because I don't know how to stop sharing. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay.
I very, very much love this analogy of Michelle's how you feel, how you treat how you feel, and how you treat yourself, why you feel. I think this is something that we can easily remember. And what I also liked about the koala picture, Michelle, was that the mama koala, so your self-compassion, is the biggest part in this. It's not the smallest part, it's actually the biggest part that holds the big piece together, right? And I always say, when you have nothing left, when life is treating you unfairly and things are really, really hard, and you might also feel really lonely because you find that maybe you don't get the right support, or just in general, you're not socializing a lot, and you tend to feel really lonely when you go through anxiety. But you don't have to be, because you do have yourself. And even though part of us is stuck in this self-critique and in analyzing and trying to solve something, there is always that part of us that will want to reach out and hold our hands and tell us it is okay, we're going to get through this together. And I think one pitfall of self-compassion and self-love is that we, all of us, subconsciously mistake it for more, if I accept and love myself and I'm compassionate, I'm going to stop striving for better things to come, or for being better, or for achieving my goals. But I also like to compare this with, like you said, Michelle, with people you love, or with your children. You don't tell them, you stupid idiot, you need to learn for your grades, or you're never going to amount to anything. But you do that with love. So you achieve the same thing either with harshness or with love. And also, do you deserve that? Do you really need to punish yourself on top of everything that you're going through? Life is hard enough. So I would like to invite you, we would like to invite you to start very, very gently. Going from harsh self-criticism to genuine self-love is such a far stretch. It's really hard to get there. But maybe just start noticing areas of your life where you're very critical of yourself, and just notice these thoughts and try to exchange it with something light, something gentle, something like, okay, thank you, this is just my critical mind, but I have another option here. There's no alternative to this harshness. Or maybe even just recall Michelle's beautiful posting here, and how are you treating yourself, and what can I do to kind of like put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes I don't have the solution to everything. I don't know how I'm going to get through this, or how I'm going to master this challenge, but I can help myself put one foot in front of the other. And that way the road will appear.
And some people on this chat right now might even say, well, I am a loser. Well, I do deserve to beat myself. It is my fault. And so that is such an ingrained pattern. And if that's the message, if that's what you keep feeding yourself, if somebody has been feeding you that, and you pick up that spoon and you keep feeding yourself the same words, it's like, what else is there to eat? Right? You are with you till the end, right? Other people may come and go, but like, you might as well just start making friends with yourself. Right? Or at least make peace with yourself. Start with that. And peace means no more battling myself. Because even just practically speaking, when it comes to learning and learning, like the learning process, punishment is the least effective means of learning. It's the least effective means of change. And so even just like, you guys probably have heard of positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment's worked in there. It's part of classical conditioning. Punishment, least effective means of change. So even if, I'm so used to beating myself up, okay, that's great. But once I realize I'm doing it, that's actually doesn't do anything. And like an example, I think I might have used on a webinar before, but it's like trying to learn how to ride a bike and just throwing rocks in front of your own bike. That's the part that I just don't even have to add. Instead of even being extra compassionate to myself, I also just don't have to do the other stuff that I do, which is self-deprecation and blame myself for my thoughts and my feelings. I've heard twice just this week. I engaged in this wonderful action, I took on this action and I did the thing. And then I came home and I feel bad. And I said, see, failure, or you're pathetic, as if you're to blame for feelings. And again, so if this ties into trauma, childhood stuff, that's another piece of this that could be a part, but know that I don't have to continue this. I don't have to continue this dialogue with myself. And I can also make the choice, like, stop speaking to myself that way. Okay. I can't decide which random words pop up, but you know what? If I don't speak to other people that way, then no longer do I give myself permission to be spoken to that way, even if the words come from myself. Right. And start, even if you don't feel like you deserve it, or if you like yourself, you can still be kind. You can still treat yourself with kindness. You can still treat your neighbor that you might not like, but you can still treat them with kindness. And so at least start there. Start with kindness. And it doesn't have to mean, you're a great person, you're so wonderful. It could mean, like, I'm doing something good for my body because I'm taking good care of my body. I'm treating myself with kindness and some grace and some compassion, just because I have the ability to treat people with compassion. So I have to learn how to treat myself with compassion, whether I feel forget the words worthy, deserve, should, shouldn't, good, bad. Those are all the judgy words. I have to learn how to give compassion. So I might as well start with myself, since I've got the opportunity to treat myself with compassion anytime, really. So I just wanted to make sure I hit those points too.
Yes. And, if you find it hard to start somewhere, maybe you can think of people who make you feel really understood and really good. For example, my best friend, I was thinking about this, and it's nothing special that she says to me when I'm having a hard time. It's not like that big advice that is fixed in my life, but it's the way she looks at me and she smiles at me. And she doesn't actually say anything, but it's just this, yeah, we're in this shit together. I'm here. You're not alone. And I think that's really all people need in that moment, because it helps us to normalize this experience, but to also tap into our resilience. It's really, really hard to tap into our resilience when we have to fight through the layer of self-hatred. And it's like a wedding cake that we bake. So we have 1 layer and 2 layers and 3 layers and 4 layers. And like the basic layer is just, I have anxiety, or I have panic disorder, whatever it is. But we never stop there, right? It's, oh my God, I have panic disorder. That means I'm weak. And that now means that nobody will like me, and I can't hold a job, and my partner is going to leave me, and my kids are going to get anxiety too because I am such a bad mother. And we pile these things up. And instead of focusing on what is and trying to do what we can to progress here, we first need to struggle our way through all of this self-loathing until we actually get to where we need to be. So a good way to start, if you don't know how to be kind or compassionate to yourself, is really just, as Michelle said, to stop being mean. That's a good start. Just try and stop being mean. Just notice those thought patterns. And you can change them, right? It's not in your control. If, like you said, Michelle, you come home and you did have that panic attack at the bus stop, that your brain will tell you, oh my God, you're so pathetic. That might happen. That might be part of that critical part of you. But you can still just notice that thought and let it go. And maybe just choose a thought that feels just a little better. It doesn't have to be fantastic. It doesn't need to be great, but it can be a little better. Something like, yeah, it is what it is. I feel panicky right now, but I can accept that. And just telling yourself, I can accept that, and I can be with myself while I feel like this, is enough to start you on a really good path.
Yeah. And just implementation, right? Somebody wrote, what comes next? Positive affirmations, mirror work. Like, it doesn't always have to be so therapist-y. It doesn't always have to be so much work. It could just be like, you don't do all this work to practice being nice to other people, right? You just practice it. You just are, right? You just are nice. And that really comes with the territory of most of Dareland. Like, ask any therapist, groups freaking hardest thing to run. I've run groups in other areas, right? And different personalities come in, people have different topics, I want to talk about me, I don't want to talk. I have never had better experiences with running groups than for the last 14 years running groups on Dare. I can count on like one hand, not even one hand, anytime something came up that was like, didn't go so well, because it's just full with people that are so empathetic and kind to everybody else, but pretty awful to ourselves. And so it's like, if you already have the ability to be kind, you have the ability. And so it's time to start, putting it in this way. I know we always say eyeballs out, but for this, it's eyeballs in. Self-compassion, we tend to put it out, only out, because then here, if I haven't fixed the problem, I'm still a loser. I still haven't done it wrong. Look what's still left. I'm still failing at this, as opposed to eyeballs in for self-compassion, eyeballs out for everything else. So eyeballs in and go, great job. And remember, you can say great job and celebrate all of your accomplishments. Your actions, your words, and your behaviors are in your control. Okay. You are in charge of your actions, your words, and your behaviors. And so if I went to the grocery store and I had a panic attack, again, you can't beat yourself up for a panic attack. You don't beat yourself up if your leg cramped up. You stupid idiot. Why'd your leg cramp up? No, your leg just cramped up. There's no self-deprecation there. But like, we tend to take ownership of those specific feelings. You don't. You just experience them, but own that you went to the grocery store. Own that I went with that feeling, and then throw the confetti. There is no negative side effect, not one, to being kind to yourself. I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I'm just saying, just be kind and have some, again, compassion, some grace, some ease, and celebrate the stuff that I did. Wow, I did all this stuff with these hard feelings. Great job. And if you want to use my words, great fucking job. Job well done. And start using those words. You might not be using those words a lot, and it might feel like you're kind of BSing yourself while you're saying them. Say them anyway. Maybe you're just not used to telling yourself those things yet. Maybe you've never been used to hearing them.
Yes. That's so important, right? Because here again, we often wait until we feel like it, right? So our feeling makes things true. But sometimes we really struggle to change our feelings and thought, but we can still change our behavior. And again, another concrete example. The last time I cried my eyeballs out, I went to the bathroom to get a tissue. I looked in the mirror and I just heard myself say, I'm sorry you feel that way. There was no advice, right? On how to make things better or how great I'm doing despite what is going on. It was just a very gentle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're going through this. I feel for you. I feel for myself. I wish it would be different, but it's not. And that's often enough to break through those layers of BS that we pile on top of this.
Right. And it doesn't mean you're changing that feeling. It doesn't mean you've stopped being sad.
No.
It's kind of like if you see somebody crying, they're sitting on the side of next to a wall and they're crying and they're your friend, and you just sit with them while they cry. You don't have to sit with them to stop them from crying or change them from crying. You just sit next to them while you feel. And so that's really like that big koala. It's not to hug away the feelings. It's to just, if you're already with yourself while you're feeling X, Y, and Z, you might as well just be kind. Because why not? The alternative sucks anyway. Who's beating themselves up into feeling good? Oh, why don't you feel good, you stupid idiot? What's wrong with you, you dummy? Why don't you be happy about yourself? Well, maybe I'll start treating myself differently. I have to change my actions first. Like the feelings follow the action. So I'm going to start changing how I treat myself. And then maybe I will indirectly notice I may actually start feeling a little different because I'm not feeding myself the same poison anymore. Feed myself poison? Wonder why I still feel sick? Start by stop feeding yourself poison, because that's what you're doing. You're feeding yourself poison. And you get to, now that you're an adult, maybe it was fed to you before, I'm going to start purposely feeding myself something else. All right.
Yes.
So anything else we want to touch on self-compassion and how that particular piece will assist in any other questions like that. Yeah. So what sort of compassion acts are you referring to? The same acts you would do to somebody else. Try not to overthink this, guys. Like, oh, I had a rough day and I did so much today and I'm really tired, and yeah, I am going to sit down and wrap myself up in this warm blanket and be kind to myself and be compassionate with myself and watch this movie because I enjoy watching movies. So I'm going to start letting myself enjoy things in life. I'm going to get my hair cut because it's time. I got to go get my hair cut because it's time to get my hair cut because I'm taking, even if you those words feel so foreign right now, take physical care of yourself. Take care of sitting with you while, like, in a gentle sort of manner, like almost like how you would hug somebody, right? I know this concept is so, who is like, it's so foreign to themselves to even like think to start this, like you don't even know where to start. But I feel like the same people who it's so foreign to how you would do this to yourselves, you probably so easily do it for others. Yeah, here, this is so hard. This is so hard. Yeah.
Maybe start, just meditate on this for 5 minutes and ask yourself, what is it I'm doing to myself that would make the biggest difference if I changed it? And you will get the answer. Right? And another thing, as a concrete example, I'm a big fan of letting shit go. So instead of trying to add positivity to negativity, let go of negativity first. So just become aware and mindful of these self-critical thoughts, and a lot of them are masked as productivity, actually, right? So yeah, you should go another exposure. Okay, you've only done 2 today. No, you had enough rest. Hold on a second, is that true? Do I maybe need more rest? I do need more rest. I'm going to give myself that day. And another thing I think is saying no and drawing lines and standing up for yourself and saying, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, or no, I don't want to go to my in-laws party, even though
boundaries, that's a whole another 12 months of calls.
Absolutely. But it's those micro decisions throughout the day where you choose to stand up for yourself.
That's a great point.
Really do matter.
Great point.
That really do matter, and that build a foundation of, because it's easy to go in front of the mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. You look beautiful. Oh no, you're ugly, but you're beautiful. I know, but look at you. Right? That debate in our head, it's so pointless. It's so pointless. And I cannot and make myself believe something that I see differently. When I have days where I look prettier up, I can't help but notice. I'm not going to look in the mirror and say, oh, you look so good today. And I'm like, oh, wow. But I'll go like, oh, wow, that's a new level, and laugh, right? It's just not taking yourself so seriously.
Right. And the compassion piece is like, oh God, I look awful today. And that big koala is, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you kind of do look like shit. That's okay.
Like
almost like it's okay to not feel good. It's okay to find the stuff about us that we don't like. Oh, I really messed up at work today. That's okay. Yeah, you did mess up at work today, but that's also okay. Like, I can still give you a hug while you made a mistake. I can still be kind to myself while I did something wrong, right? And so rather than, oh, I didn't do something just the right way, and now I punch myself in the face, and that's supposed to make me feel better. What? Okay, yes, the thing was done, and now I can also, again, be the big koala while you're managing all the other pieces. You can always be kind to yourself. You always have that ability. It's just, kind of learning how to tap into that.
And you don't need to echo your childhood. You just don't need to do that, even though it might have become a habit, and it might feel flowy. I don't know how to better describe it, even though it feels awful to be awful to yourself, but it still feels, this is what you know, this is what you've done all this time. So it feels normal, and that taking that line is so fast. It's such an automated reaction.
Right.
It feels normal, even though it feels shit. And in the beginning, that big change from doing something differently still might just feel out of place, like wrong to do that. And kind of like learning to tie shoelaces. Like, what am I doing here? I'm not even believing myself. Why would I do that? But it's so worth it. And self-compassion is is something that sticks with you. If you master this, if you practice it every day, micro decisions throughout the day, it will help you in so many other areas of your life. It will keep you sane when life hits so hard that you feel like you're going to crumble under that. But self-compassion is the thing that will always pick you up when you're lying on the bathroom floor crying. Promise.
Right. And you get better by using it. And so try it. Like, even just, I've worked with people, they can't even say the words out loud. Like, I am worthy of love. They just start laughing, or no, I can't say, they just, because it's just such a block, because I'm not used to saying, because I don't believe it. I don't think I deserve it. Like, somebody here just wrote in the chat, like, it's hard not echoing your child. I grew up being told to shut up, that I was fat and that I was stupid. So here's the poison. Here's the poison. Here's the poison. You almost like only see that that's all there is to eat. We're here to there's a whole buffet out there. And so if somebody's passing that poison on to you now, because you've just got so used to eating it, you don't know any different. I'm not used to doing all these other things yet. That's right, because you haven't done them yet. And so start doing them awkwardly, uncomfortably. You might even feel more anxious when you make these changes, because it feels like speaking a foreign language. It feels like you're bullshitting yourself. It feels phony. It feels fake. It feels like you're an imposter. Eat something else anyway. Get used to speaking. Maybe you're just not used to being spoken to kindly. So let's start. Start by using the words. Use the words and the actions and behaviors. And then it might start coming a little more naturally.
Yes, Michelle, how about we do a round of examples, okay, of negative self-critical thoughts and how you would respond to them and how I would respond to them. Do you have any situation that pops up in your head last time you had a self-critical thought or a judgmental thought about yourself?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. What do you have something off the top of your head that you could use?
Yeah,
I'm sure the chat's full of them.
It was interesting because I had never thought about imposter syndrome ever until a client brought it up who was struggling, and it was kind of in the back of my head. And then last week, I was just tired, and I had a call, and then this thought popped up in my head, like, who are you to give people advice?
Oh yeah, I've had that very often. Mm-hmm.
And I was so surprised by it. I was like, oh, that is interesting. I was like, okay, this is what they call imposter syndrome, I guess. So that's a blink of it. And how did I respond to it? It was more of a gentle smile, I would say. I responded to it like, oh, funny, you're popping up. Like, I didn't feel any negativity towards it. It was just like content. And actually, funny you're bringing that up. I've never thought about this in all of my life, and here you are. That was definitely one. Another one was a very short night with my kid. I was so tired, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, I was like, how am I gonna survive tomorrow? Like, everybody's gonna notice how tired you are. And I just reminded myself, yeah, they might notice, but you're still gonna do a good job. And even if you're not 100% top of your game tomorrow, it's going to be enough. You're going
to, as you're talking, I'm trying to think. I'm like, what do? I don't think I purposely do anything to like be extra nice. Like, yeah, you're good. No, you do look good. You it is fine. You are going to do a good job. I think sorry. I wasn't clear. What is your automated response to that?
No,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think I don't think it's that. I think it's more of a shrug. I think when I have those thoughts come up, they get like I hate these stupid bangs. Whatever. Like, and I just leave them. I just let myself not like them. Now, I was never always good at that. I used to use that to turn, like, maybe like teenage years or early 20s. It was always like, let's try and fix this so I can feel good about myself, as opposed to like, instead of fix it, just leave it. Right? If something's fixable, fix it. If something's not fixable, leave it, which is kind of the essence of DARE also. But like, really, as you get older, it's like there's less, when you realize there's less to do about it. Or I did, like, I said something to somebody on a call this past week, and I'm now going back and going, oh yeah, I was so stupid. Why did you say that? I hope they didn't interpret that as meaning like that is not like what I said is the same as what they said. And like, I kind of go back and keep rehashing. Who likes to do that? Go back to the past and go, gosh, now maybe I should go back and clarify and apologize because I hope they didn't interpret that word as something else. But that was like the first 12 minutes of a 60-minute phone call, and the rest of the call was fine, but I'm stuck there. And so I have to go, well, that's okay. And even if they did misinterpret, if they want to send a message to clarify, I will clarify. And so like that whole guilt, shame, that'll be a good topic, I think, for another short topic, guilt and shame, how that works into all this. But guilt is a feeling that's useful when it's used for, oops, I did something. Now how do I change for the future? Guilt, what happens is we get stuck in it. We use it to punish ourselves. We use it to pause time and go back and keep rehashing in the past. And the only way guilt would be, everybody wants to talk about guilt. Everybody loves here, a webinar on guilt and shame. Yes, because we take that feeling. I won't give any more away. We'll use it for next time. We'll get into 27,000 Q&As now.
Yeah, and maybe, make this your mantra. Okay, even if it feels fake and if it feels wrong today, make it your mantra. I love myself and I deserve the best. So every thought that doesn't serve me and validates the love and compassion I have for myself, I will not take seriously, but I will, of course, take responsibility for things that I can do better or things that I have done wrong. And I will do things wrong. But for those, I will take responsibility and accept that. I will not accept harshness because I deserve good. I do deserve good. Right? Tell that to yourself every day and live by that. And it really does help.
Awesome. Cool.
So let's hit into a few questions. I think we had quite a few on sleep, Michelle.
Quite a few on, everything really. See, the first one is on ruminations. Just in the chat, if this is your thing, just give like a little thumbs up or something so we know how many people find this relevant. How do ruminations fit into the DARE framework? My anxiety takes the form of low-grade ruminations and distracting thoughts versus full-blown panic attacks or disturbing thoughts. They are still exhausting over time, though, especially when I've spent the whole day overthinking something I have no control over. Yep. Can I use DARE to combat these ruminations that take way too much mental real estate? By Brian. Brian, if you're here, you can pop up and say hi. But look, we got a whole lot of yeses here. That's a pretty common question that comes in.
So, Michelle, I'm just going to answer part of the question because I couldn't keep it in mind because I obviously seem to have the wrong sheet here.
Oh, no.
So I just heard rumination. So I'm just going to give my 5 cents on rumination. So, rumination is a thing that naturally comes with anxiety. First of all, there is no anxious person that doesn't ruminate. There are 2 forms of rumination. There is what we call the active rumination or the conscious rumination and background rumination, right? Conscious rumination is let me go and Google and read and talk and blog about it. So it's constantly in my face. That will obviously lead to being very zoomed in to whatever you're ruminating about. And the background rumination is really just your anxious mind, chit-chatting away. So you've been out exposing yourself and you come home and, you've done well, everything was right, but your head is still, doubting and trying to lure you back into some destructive behavior. But when you ask what the reason for the rumination is, in many, many, many cases, rumination is really a sign that you're not allowing and you're not feeling. You're trying to solve the anxiety problem still up here. And this is why this goes on and on and on, because there's no solution to it. There's no solution because there's no problem. So it's like a cat chasing its tail all the time, da, 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 da. And you're trying to solve anxiety with your head and that doesn't work. And the more you learn to regulate the anxiety with your body by allowing it, so it regulates itself in its own time and on its own terms, right? You are not doing that. That's just your nervous system doing it by you not interfering. And this is when the rumination will lessen. And the more you find yourself being up here, it's a sign that you don't want to be here. So you're pushing everything up here to try to solve it. Right. So keep that in mind.
I think too, on this question, it seems like confusing the 2 different, as opposed to like the movie that's playing over and over and over and over again, as opposed to Me going, oh my God, why is that movie playing over and over and over again? Oh, I don't like how this movie makes me feel. I'm going to pull up a chair and sit and watch that movie that's playing over and over and over again. This is the active rumination piece. This is this is a behavioral thing. Like, because they also wrote, it's exhausting because even when I spent the whole day overthinking something I have no control over. Right. So let the spin. It's you need to do something. Somebody wrote, do you think constantly researching anxiety and reading dare stuff is a negative form of rumination? It's ruminating. Ruminating, just the term to ruminate, not a bad thing. Ruminate means to think deeply about something. In and of itself, that's fine. But what am I ruminating about and why? So if it's, here's this thought that keeps looping, now I need to spend I have this much energy a day. Am I spending it all on trying to solve this unsolvable problem, trying to think about thoughts I don't like, trying to get rid of feelings that I can't get rid of? This revving of the engine,
and it's not productive, right?
It's not useful. It's not productive. It's not going anywhere. Your car's in park, but you're stepping on the gas. And so unless you're engaged driving somewhere, leave this be. Your brain, that movie can play on a loop and a loop and a loop and a loop. This is when we're talking about how rumination you're in charge of the rumination piece, we're in charge of how I treat the looping thoughts, how I treat the things that are on repeat, the song in your head. It's this, actually. I did this on the group call last night. If you guys look on the Facebook page, here's all these fluctuating things. This is the part I want everybody to really focus on, because everyone wants to post and talk about this. Almost all the questions that come into Dare are about this stuff. My thoughts, my feelings, my sensations. It's the behavior. This is the thermostat. You have a thermostat for this. You have a thermostat for the temperature in your room. You don't have a thermostat for the weather outside. This stuff is noticeable. What are all the actions you are taking? Rumination, really, I think in this person is using looping thoughts and the act of sitting and thinking deeply and ruminating as the same thing. And really I just want to make sure he understands, so, and that everybody in the chat gets, it's two different things. Your brain can spin on as much as it wants. The act of sitting and engaging and ruminating and thinking, trying to solve this, would you be engaged in this behavior if this thing wasn't here? And on the group call that I ran last night, at the end, I said, that's really the golden question. That's the golden question, the ticket that gets you out. Would I be doing all of these things if all of these things were down low? If I felt good and I had no anxiety, would I still be listening to Michelle? Would I still be checking all those Instagram pages every day? And I'm constantly doing something. It's like trying to adjust the thermostat to see if it warmed up outside. No, let go of the thermostat. The thermostat's in charge of these behaviors, not in charge of the feelings. And so Dare, how ruminations fit into the Dare framework, Dare is to say, here's this thing that I don't like that's on a loop, and I'm deciding to not give it any more time, effort, attention, energy. Oh, the paper is posted on the Facebook pages. Somebody just asked that.
Yes. Sorry. So anxiety, OCD, depression, all have this hallmark characteristic of rumination, which is unproductive. Like as Michelle said, rumination in itself is not negative, because we ruminate about work. We ruminate how to make something better. We ruminate how to, make that great finding in research. We ruminate, but it's getting us somewhere, right? It's focused on something. And usually rumination in anxiety and OCD and depression, it leads you nowhere, right? I'm so depressed. The world is dark. Nobody loves me. This is not getting better. Anxiety, same thing. Oh my God, I'm anxious again. There's going to be another horrible day. What am I going to do? Same thing, doesn't get you anywhere. And sometimes you just need to pull yourself out of that hole. Okay, this is not productive. I can't change. I can't help my mind doing that right now. I can change that. But what I can change is leaving that alone and go and engaging in something that is productive. And that can be something as simple as, and I really want to emphasize this, as simple as folding laundry. What would you do? What is the next important right thing in your day-to-day life that you would do, that needs to be done, that is important, or that you would enjoy doing. It can be either of these things, but that is productive. That gets you into an upward spiral, whereas the constant rumination gets you in this downward spiral.
Right.
And it never leads to something good, to something encouraging, or to a new insight. It's just how can we describe like a noise, right? Like a ventilator noise. Ooh, same story, same narrative. It's always negative. And it's really hard to get out of that spiral if you just keep staring at it. And then remember the cake. Oh, I'm ruminating. Oh my God, why I'm ruminating? Yeah, what does this rumination mean? Am I depressed now? And you see, ooh, it goes on, right? You can, of course, influence rumination. The more you actively engage, and I love that question. I think who asked that, David, do you think that constantly researching anxiety and reading their stuff is a negative form of ruminating? Absolutely, 100%. Yes. But your intention is really important. Why am I going on that page? Why am I re-listening to the webinar? Is it because sometimes I just need a little bit of hope because I feel down? Awesome. Go listen to it. And then, get whatever you need and move on with your life. Do I need clarification because something is just not clear to me? All right, get the clarification and move on. But do you need to hear the same thing over and over and over because you feel you're missing the last piece of puzzle?
Just hear it just right. I'm just waiting for a click. If I could just, who's only tuning into this, waiting for the click, there's not going to be a click. The click comes with action, not with listening, not with the webinars. And so come here to gather information and to clarify all this. And also I always listen to your YouTube channel. I always listen to this. And every time I feel bad, I turn it on and I feel better. Bzz. Nope, that's not what we want. If you want to listen, if you want to watch our video, or if you like to follow the Instagram pages or whatnot, decide ahead of time, like how this is my actions and behaviors. And I like to check, even if it's like whatever, these particular podcasts and these things. And I like to go on this Calm app and listen to this meditation at 9 o'clock in the morning because it's part of a routine. But notice if it's every time I feel blank, I must do blank. You can do, people do a lot of unproductive things. People do a lot of things that are disguised as healthy, but if it's used as a must or else, like every time I feel anxious, I listen to Dare. That's great in the beginning, but if it becomes like a must or else, then wow, every time I feel anxious, well, no, I don't have to listen to Dare. Dare is telling me how to get better at just feeling anxious. Listening to Dare can become a compulsive behavior in itself. And so can exercise, and so can healthy food, and so can all of the other self-calming, self-regulation things that we like to do. It can become compulsory. And so it's getting, like, I can do all those things on my own schedule as I've pre-planned throughout the day, right? Rather than every time I feel blank, I must do blank. And so again, we tend to also have a latching problem. Like rumination keeps us latched into the sad, latched into the scared. And so it's, okay, I notice I'm thinking deeply really about this. Again, is this useful? Is this productive? Do I enjoy it? If not, what else can I latch into that would be a better use of my time and energy? Like I have this plug of electricity, but it's plugged into the wrong thing. Let's plug into something. Well, might as well use all this energy towards laundry. Well, let's just fold the laundry because my involvement here serves no purpose, right? Like the static's still staticking. So let's put my efforts towards something that my effort makes a change. There's something productive for me being involved here. And so that's the work part that comes in, the awareness and the change of behaviors.
Now, I would love to touch, Michelle, maybe a little bit out of context, but David responded with a very honest answer. And he said, well, I'll do that because, for me, it's because I want to fix this as soon as possible. David, I promise you're not alone in this. And Michelle, I'm sure that you can attest to the fact that 98% of all clients that we have come to us with, tell me how to fix it. What can I do? How can I get out of this fast? It's so normal to want to do that. But here comes my but. The moment you tell yourself, I want to fix this, and I want to fix it as soon as possible, you're making 10 steps back. And not
just
one
did this
step.
on the group call last night. Just had that same conversation.
That's 10 steps back. All the work that you actually do put in, all the effort, you undo it the moment you tell yourself, when is this finally going to be over? Don't get me wrong. I understand we do ask ourselves the question, oh my God, when will this be finally over? That is different from what else can I do so this is finally over because I've had it. This is not how it works. It's not how it works. You cannot do more so you can fix anxiety faster. That's
right. You can't work harder at trying to do less. And because you can't fix something that's not broken. This is not, this is the part of you that keeps ringing because you're in fix-it mode. You're in problem solving
and you're running more.
Right. And so, yes, like the person with the, like, doesn't keep running and running and running only because their lungs keep pumping and pumping and pumping. And when my lungs calm down, like, then I'll stop running. It's your lungs keep pumping because you keep running. And running here is, this is still a problem and it needs to be gone. And as soon as it's gone, that is, 98% of why people call me. Using DARE, I get it. I like I'm trying it. I love the concept, but I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if DARE doesn't work for me because I'm trying really hard to accept and allow, but it's not working because I still feel X, Y, and Z. Am I doing something wrong, or do I just need to give it more time for all of this stuff to be gone? That shows me you're using DARE as a weapon to get rid of something. Like the goal is still elimination rather than indifference and irrelevance. And you can't force irrelevance.
No, that's it. You cannot force irrelevance. And the more you're telling yourself, I need to fix this, what you're essentially saying is, there is a problem. So I need to stay overly vigilant. Right? I need my brain to send me more adrenaline and more cortisol so I can fix this problem. So how do I fix it? So let me go back. So now you have this energy. Where do you put it? You go and read the book again. You read more other books, go re-listen to the webinar, and then you're trying really hard. And in the beginning, sometimes that actually feels good because you're being active and it feels like, oh, I'm in control. I'm doing stuff, until you notice, oh shit, my willpower is going down, my energy is going down, and all I'm left with is nothing but more mess. Right. And when you're in that spiral, the next feeling that will join all of these feelings is, oh my God, you're broken. You have reached next level of insanity.
Irreparable.
Nobody can help you, right? And it's really so important. I know we keep saying this on every webinar, but your progress is not measured in how many anxious thoughts you have, or how many sensations came up, or if you had a panic attack while you were out driving. Nobody cares. You shouldn't care about that at all. The only thing you should care about is, well, I was at the dentist and I had the panic attack and I worked through it. I didn't white knuckle my way through it. I worked through it. That's all that matters. That doesn't feel very rewarding because we're asking you to actually feel shit while you do these things without getting an instant reward. But the reward will come. It will just come later. And you owe it to yourself to stick through that, because that's the only thing that will get you where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. The expectation of it being gone is why you're still here, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I get better at letting my body do things. That's the goal. I get better at just letting my body do things. I get better at letting my mind come up with things. I get better at leaving them be, right? I get better at experiencing discomfort. I get better at experiencing anxiety. The presence of anxiety is not the sign of an anxiety disorder. And feeling anxious and having a disordered relationship with feeling anxious, it's a similar loop of feeling down and having a diagnosis of depression. We get stuck in the loop of desperately trying to eliminate a feeling so I can eliminate the disorder, but the disorder is the desperate attempt to eliminate the feeling. And so that's why DARE is about how I treat how I feel. DARE is the little koala holding that thing. Notice we're not talking to you about how to get rid of the thing. We're not talking about how to eliminate or shrink that little ball. It's how do I treat this ball? Because the ball is part of you. It's like deciding you don't want to blink anymore, or you don't want to have a shadow anymore. You don't get to decide that. You don't get to feel good all the time. And Aida, like you were saying, before, it was you're saying like, oh, if I feel like I just need to keep doing and doing and reading and reading, and then that's post in the comments if this is you. As long as I keep going, I'm fine, and I keep myself busy, then I'm distracting because I feel productive. I'm using my energy. Yes, until you stop. And then who can't just be still? And then when I'm home and it's quiet and it's just me and my body and it's just me and my mind, and that's usually where morning anxiety comes in, where nighttime comes in, where downtime comes in, and it's just me and myself. And it's because you're not at peace with yourself. I need to just keep busy because here's energy. I need to run with the energy. My body keeps sending me energy, so now I have to run. My body sends me energy. I have to run. You can, if it's productive and useful to run, but you don't have to run because of the energy. You can take it and use it, or you can just experience it and just have it. And so that's where kind of like reverse exposure therapy comes in. I made up that term, by the way. Don't Google it. It's not a thing. I just made it up on like, I don't know, 5 group calls ago. But reverse exposure therapy is learning how to not go out and get in the elevator and do the 20 minutes. It's like for 20 minutes a day, just experience what you're already experiencing, but just look at it for a few minutes. Look at it like the fish in the fish tank. Yeah, that is how I feel. Yep, those are my thoughts. Yep, I noticed that feeling that comes up with these thoughts. And then we get better at that. Oh, that was my little spiel about.
That's awesome. That's awesome, especially that last part. Guys, who does that? Who's taking 5 minutes out of the day to just sit there and notice what they're feeling, whatever it is? Someone wrote earlier, oh yeah, I'm totally afraid to be with myself. Well, did you take 5 minutes a day to just be with yourself in quiet and not try to get anywhere with it, with this exercise? Okay, we're not trying to get anywhere with it, but just sit there, stare out the window, look at something, and just allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. Only this way you get to experience, oh, I am safe. It might be unpleasant, but I am safe. And the next time I'm going to do 6 minutes. And maybe in the beginning, when I start the exercise, my resistance to allowing myself to feel that is a 10 out of 10. But I can manage to drop to an 8 out of 10, to resist just a little less today, whatever I'm feeling. And this is how you build resilience. This is how recovery is built, not by that big push out. Oh, I just need to take that drive and I'm going to be healed. No, there's no need for healing because you are not broken. But what you need to change is your destructive behavior and the misinterpretation of your own alarm system as something dangerous. Everything stands and falls with that. Everything.
Yeah. You run from bees, you don't run from yourself.
Yes. And even if yourself at the moment is kind of like, feels weird, it's allowed to feel weird. Okay. But you don't have to obsess about it and fear it and fight yourself. I'm sure this nasty cold that has been going around, Michelle, who of you guys has had this nasty cold that just stuck
5
around?
Weeks we had it. We had it for 5 weeks.
Felt like forever.
That went on forever.
Yeah, I promise you, laying in bed with a fever of 40, I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit, but it's really high.
Frozen solid.
So fever, blocked nose, hard to breathe, everything is aching. You can't go to work, you can't take care of your kids, you can't do actually nothing but basically just lay there and wait for the shit to pass. You are more handicapped with that kind of cold than you are with anxiety. Truly handicapped, because there's actually something going on with your body. But you don't sit there and like, oh my God, when is it going to pass? And what else can I do to make it pass faster? Because you've had this so many times. You know on a deep level, this shit takes time, but my body will take care of it. I can only assist it so far with maybe some medication and fluid and rest, right? That's all I get to do. It's all I get to do. And anxiety, this kind of anxiety we're talking about, is no different. Stop treating your alarm system, your hypervigilance, your weird thoughts, your sensations as dangerous, it is not. It is just as unpleasant as a cold is, so treat it no different.
Okay, question number 2.
Yeah, we got to question number 2, 4 minutes before the webinar ended. I'm so sorry.
But you guys can see how we're kind of already answering all. If we kind of quickly just read the questions, we can also see how it ties into the same explanation we're giving. Like the next question is about setbacks. Can you please discuss setbacks? Which was actually the reason why I printed this out for the group call I ran yesterday. I made some real progress and a lot of the sensations went away. This went down. Again, you didn't make this go down. Your body just happened to regulate itself. And now they're back. And I feel like I can't remember how I made progress before. Thank you. So whoever sent this in, Caroline, take a look at this. Okay. You're probably very hooked in on this. If you're hooked to here, I want you to really be more hooked here. Oh yeah. Well, I'm Googling and Googling and Googling. Oh, I'm Googling. I need to be more aware of my actions, behaviors. We're generally not lacking in awareness for our thoughts, feelings, and sensations. We're lacking in awareness for our actions and behaviors. So this is the stay back. So whoosh, pop back up. Here comes the return of discomfort. Where's the return of behaviors that lock you into this discomfort, that keep you locked in this heightened state? There's a good chance you're doing something on here. There's a good chance something like this is happening.
Yes, and keep this in mind. On a mental level, what am I doing? What is my interpretation? And what is my behavior? And you should post that that paper that you created, Michelle, and just divide it into where am I mentally occupied. Michelle, I think you're sharing your personal number on an open chat. So you might want to delete that message.
Me?
That now.
Yeah, somebody just put their phone number for 93 strangers to see. So I don't know how to delete that, but I don't know.
We cannot delete this for you, so maybe you might want to delete that. Sorry, guys, just saw that popping up there.
All right,
Am I resisting? Am I resisting what I'm feeling? Question number 1. Number 2, am I interpreting something as dangerous that is just discomfort? Those are basically the 2 groups. And then on the behavior level, we have a few more, like Michelle just showed up. Because so many things. Just read a few, Michelle.
How much time are you spending there? Involvement, your story about the thing. What's your story? Is it, I just feel blank? Or is your story one of catastrophizing? Are you Googling reassurance? Checking to see if it's there, checking to see if it's gone, to see what I did that work to get rid of it, fighting, fleeing, freezing, and protecting.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, I had a breakthrough moment. I did something and it went away. Awesome.
What did I do?
What was it? So next time now I need to recreate whatever I did the last time. So, and what am I essentially telling myself? Oh, it's here and I can't accept it. I can't tolerate that. That's why I need to go and find something that will alleviate this, you see. Whatever you do in that direction, am I doing whatever I'm doing with the goal to alleviate or change the way I feel right now because I can't stand the discomfort? Stop it.
Right. That what you just said, that's this guy who just happened to hit his thermostat while the sun came out from behind the clouds. And he's like, so then we take correlation and we associate it to causation. Oh my God, I made the sun come out. Oh my God, I got to make sure I keep hitting that button to make the sun come out. Oh, I did this and this happened. I caused that feeling to go away. I caused that feeling to come. And that's where it's my fault. I did something to make that feeling happen. The thermostat has nothing to do with that stuff. Right. And this is not, guys, just let you know, this is not on the app. This is on the Dare Facebook pages. I posted it on my Facebook page and my Instagram page, and I shared it among all the private Dare groups. And so whoever's on this call has access to the Dare app subscribers group. So it's in there. It's not on the app. And just for a slight different change in category, Somebody just asked a quick question about flying. Not a quick question, but still flying is the biggest challenge for me after 5 years. Do you have any tips? Just to mention, because this is for people who have access to the app, we have a whole bunch of audios on the app. On this app, there's a whole section on here called Dare in Action, which is right here. That there's a section specifically, if you click this here, Dare in Action, there's a whole series here for flying anxiety. Sorry, I don't know why it's so glary. It's really just, it walks you through the steps on flying. Like, take it with you when you go flying. That's a take it with you pack of audios. There's one, take it with you for feelings of trapped, for the grocery store, for flying, for driving, and for performance anxiety. And there will be a few more coming out on there. So just to not take up more time on the call about that, like, it'll all be on there. And just to add to that, your problem isn't flying. Your problem most likely is, I don't like how I feel when I fly, right? I'm fighting how I'm feeling while I'm on a plane. It's probably that feeling of trapped, and I'm trying to not feel trapped. I'm trying to not go crazy. So keep that in mind. It's not the plane. It's how I'm treating, how I'm feeling while I'm on the plane.
I love, Michelle, somebody asked if you should do another one for going to the gym. And Barbara said that she used it on an event, and it was, guys, definitely check it out. It's so awesome. You have your personal therapist with you, walking you through these situations.
Yeah, and you're already paying for it. So use the app. Like, use the app. That's a good way to use the app productively, right? Rather than sitting home and listening again and listening again and listening again and listening again. Oh, while I go to the grocery store where there's a good chance I might have a panic attack, those audios are not to calm you down. If you didn't notice, they're my voice, not Barry's voice. And my voice is not the meditation voice. Okay, leave that for these two, not me. My voice is, you can go to the grocery store while you feel X, Y, and Z. I can feel uncomfortable in the grocery store, and I get better at mending my relationship with discomfort in the plane, on the train, on the bridge, with my thoughts. Here comes this feeling, and it's safe to feel scared. It's safe to have thoughts I don't like. None of this really is about comfort. Like Aida said so lovingly, we don't give a shit about how you feel. We care about how you treat how you feel. Somebody's going to just take that sound clip and post it somewhere. We're the worst people ever. And I care how you treat your feelings.
Sorry, Michelle, I meant by we. I didn't mean you and me. I meant we all, right? We shouldn't care.
Yes, right. Doesn't matter. We don't care. Like, not that we don't care, but like,
we shouldn't.
He doesn't care how you feel. He cares what you're treating as danger. So he doesn't care about comfort. He cares that you're treating discomfort as danger. He's a real simplistic kind of guy. He just wants to know what you're treating as a threat. And if you start treating how you feel as a threat, if you start treating discomfort as a threat, and you keep showing me all the discomfort, not that I don't care that you're feeling uncomfortable, but what I care is that you're treating all those feelings as dangerous. And we're here trying to release this part. Get better at feeling sad. Get better at feeling uncertain. Get better at vulnerability. Get better at talking nice to yourself, because that might feel awkward and weird too. And so that's not whatever I'm braced against. This guy just knows braced. He knows fight. He knows problem solving mode. He goes to see what's on the other end of your problem-solving mode to see what the problem is. And so if it's bears, yes, keep solving through problems through bears. But if it's a thought, he's only keeps showing you thoughts because you keep engaging in problem-solving mode for thoughts. That's what I meant.
Great. I think that was a great wrap-up. Thank you, everybody who attended today. We hope this was helpful. That was a good webinar. I feel like, I think we squeezed everything in there, all the very important things, right? Bye-bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Michelle.
Thank you for listening to the DARE podcast. The DARE app has over 1 million downloads and is helping people all around the world to overcome anxiety and panic attacks. You can download the app for free at dareresponse.com.